At night, I'm sitting at the table, smoking, with my feet kicked up on it. The feeling of satisfaction from a job well done warmed my soul. That's it. Now it's all done. I looked at the clock, 2 a.m. Well, look what we have here. Does it even make sense to go home, or should I just spend the night here, hand over the work in the morning, get paid, and basically wait for a new order? I blew a smoke ring into the air. It makes sense to stay here. I got up, walked to the window, and looked out at Moscow by night. Beautiful. But this beauty brings me no joy. I went back to the table, took out a glass, and poured some liquor. Even my favorite notes of flavor aren't cheering me up. It should. Working almost 16 hours a day. Maybe it's the money, the big money. But why do I need money like this? And can I even call these last few years successful? I thought about it, added up a few factors, and shrugged. No, I answered aloud, leaning back on the sofa in the office of my small firm. Once it was successful, rich, and even now it has a reputation for being reliable. There was a time when everyone told me, "Go be a lawyer, you'll be raking in the dough." People like that are always needed, and that's really how it was. I caught the first wave, where lawyers and the like made that kind of money. First, I rose sharply and quickly in my own city, then moved on, and from there to Moscow, where I opened my own small firm. It was here, in this city, that I realized I was a little late. While in other cities this was just gaining momentum, here it was already on the decline. But even here I made good money, hired people for the staff, and overall, I shouldn't complain. I didn't plan on expanding. There's no point here. Stay a small fish and nobody's particularly interested in you. But become a big fish, and an even bigger fish will swim along and make you an offer that's hard to refuse, and sometimes even impossible. I always knew where I was, what I was doing, and understood exactly where the boundaries of what was permissible ended. So I didn't have any particular problems, and performed a whole range of services for small-time bankruptcies and a host of other things that only got cheaper with each passing year. People used to really make a killing here. Now, of course, you can still make good money, but every year, every month, the prices keep dropping. New firms open up that are willing to work for almost nothing, just for the PR, just to get their name out there, to establish themselves. But alas, at first I didn't follow their lead and relied on my reputation, like, I'm not new to this. But as it turned out, people are willing to take risks and buy the same services from others, not from the proven ones. Although, again, we had our own clients, but it was stagnation, not growth. Well, why turn up my nose? As long as the firm brings in money, roughly. Of course, I made a fortune. I can't complain about the money, but about my life, I sure can. I was never home, have no family. Yeah, the car is cool, the clothes too. And that's it. And the apartment, which I get to at best a couple of times a week. The rest of the time, I'm sorting out other people's issues and problems. I'm on the phone. I have to be polite, well-dressed, provide quick consultations, and so on. Sometimes, due to urgency, and for us, everything is always urgent, it's never otherwise. You sit up until late at night or until morning because these issues needed to be solved yesterday, but you were only given the case today. Of course, you could take your time, but then you won't see that money either. Right now, looking through my mail, more speed, more employees, expand the staff even more. But then you hire one employee, then this, then that. One thing leads to another. And then you've hired not one, but 15 people. We already have a fairly compact office space. Hiring even a few more people means moving. Of course, we're not sitting on top of each other, but a little more, and we will be. I sat in silence. There wasn't even a thought in my head. Nothing at all. New Year's is coming soon, and what will I do? I took out another cigarette and smoked it, just like the first, without even feeling it. I'll sit down at the computer again, eat a salad, and go to sleep. Very interesting. And it's been like this for several years in a row. I look at these people on New Year's, all that fuss, the running around, the silly sweaters, the little gifts, the boxes. It's all so cool. And me? I glanced resentfully at my phone. Who the hell decided to call me in the middle of the night? Technically, it's the 3rd hour, and I should be sleeping. But it wasn't a client calling, who couldn't care less about anything. It was, strangely enough, a rare bird, a buddy from my home village. We had been friends since childhood, and hadn't lost touch even after all these years. "Hey, Stas," I said, tired. "Hey, Valor. Look, I'm calling on business. I know it's late, but listen. My father died." "I'll help, of course," I replied, perking up a little. "What's the issue? And how did he die?" "Heart attack. He was working in the field and just died. They found him a meter away from the tractor. Looks like he ran from someone, but there was no one around, no tracks. Maybe some animal?" "No, it was in that one place, you know, the bad one, where people usually don't plow. But for some damn reason, he decided to drive over there and plow that field. I don't know. It's all strange. Why did he even touch it? You know yourself. He went around the hollow. And there it is, 10 hectares. I have no idea why. He never had an idea like that before. And again, you know yourself, no one ever went there, not even when they were drunk. I just don't get him. You don't seem too upset, talking about it so calmly." "Well, why should I lose my mind?" He was drinking. For the last 6 months, I haven't seen him sober for a single day. He drank a lot, ate whatever, and basically didn't move much. He already had problems. His back, his legs, his head, and don't even get me started on his stomach. It was getting really bad. So, you know, I don't want to lie here. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else. Hey, you should come too. When was the last time you visited your own folks? See, I'm sitting here with a glass, sipping away. You should come. Visit your family, meet up with me, and just see your old home in the village. I need to think about it. You can't just drop everything here. I have a firm. Well, anyway, it's up to you. If you don't come, then call your father and send it through him, because around here... That's nonsense, I said, and hung up myself. I had no desire to talk anymore. Well, there you have it. Uncle Roma died. A good man. He was kind. The fact that he had bad habits is trivial. We all have them. He was always a tractor driver on the collective farm. Worked a lot, let us little kids steer, and was generally a kind soul. He got into a lot of funny stories, told tall tales, and on the whole, lived a cheerful life. And he died so unusually. That place, about 10 hectares. He couldn't have been unaware that you shouldn't go near that land. They always avoided it. What the hell could have happened there that made him, after living his whole life without breaking the prohibition, go there and then run? A strange business. And what about me? What about me, really? What am I doing sitting here, rotting away? I haven't had a day off in God knows how long. Besides, the firm isn't a cow. I can leave it for a while. It won't starve. It'll keep working. I'll put someone in my place. Decided. Tomorrow I'll hand over my cases and fly back to my small homeland. And there we'll see what's what. It's too late to call my father. He probably doesn't know yet. I think I'll call him in the morning. And now I need to stop sitting around and go to bed. It'll be time to wake up soon. The morning was all business. I handed over the case I was working on. They paid me. Then I held a meeting with my subordinates, gave out assignments and instructions, and only after that did I fly home. And from there, I took a taxi almost to my native village. I was so happy to see the places where I had spent probably the most carefree years of my life. Although, to be honest, in the many years of my absence, life hadn't been kind to the village. Half the houses were already empty. Many had left because there was nothing to do. The collective farm is on its last legs, and it's unclear how it's survived. In a word, only old men and women are left. Both my mother and father were happy about my arrival. They fed me, gave me drinks. Stas came over, and we discussed his father's death. He didn't tell me anything new, pretty much the same thing, just in different words. Then he said goodbye and left. He had a lot on his plate. And I stayed. I had a long journey and was already crashing. So I sat with my father in the kitchen, drinking tea with honey. Stas left. It's going to be tough for him now, Dad said. Why? I asked. Because I once went up to him and said, "Let me call your son in Moscow. He'll set you up with some simple job. It's better than sitting here in the collective farm counting pennies." He's a good guy. You know how much he helped out while you were gone? A real passion. Don't take money back from him. Good guys like that are what this place holds on to. I wasn't going to. You heard me. I just gave it to him, not as a loan. I respected Uncle Roma, too. Stas is foolish, of course. He called you right away. Everyone here would have helped him organize things. Money in such matters is not an issue at all. But he's an honest guy. And why did you tell him all that? The bastard. His father, he'd be lost all alone. You were right. His old man would have been truly lost alone. It's better when there's a living soul warming the house. Alone, it's no good. He would have drunk himself to death and died even earlier. But the land has tied Stas to itself. He'll bury his father and then continue to work. Mom came into the kitchen. "Are you two discussing things?" she asked, sitting down. "We're discussing," I say, "that the guy will be lost, he won't go anywhere." Where you're born is where you're useful. That's true. And about his father, I think he just had an excuse not to leave. Maybe you're right. But in any case, it's a pity for him, and for his father. I don't understand him either, why he went there. We were standing with him that day, talking about something, laughing. "Yeah," I mumbled. "Maybe they told him to plow there? After all, it's before winter. Maybe they decided to sow." "Oh, stop talking nonsense. Where did they say? The owners of the collective farm know that those 10 hectares will just sit there. How many times have they tried to sow it? 4 times, I think. And 4 times, that's 8 dead men. Either a combine operator or a tractor driver. And how many horses died there? A long time ago, when you were little, there was a road to Kormilovka. It passed through that hollow. And then when devilry started happening there, demons jumping and raging, they closed the road. Well, closed is a bit of a loud word. People just stopped using it," my father said. "Yes, son. Tanya Mukhina, Leonya the agronomist, Sashka Minin, and more people never made it out of that hollow. Your mother is right. I'm a driver myself. When we were near that hollow, chameleon, you know, one eye on the hollow, or rather on the field, and the other on the combines. You have to pick up the grain. Every time it's harvest, the equipment constantly breaks down there. You can see devils in the distance, or some people walking all over the field. And this year, they didn't even go at night. Nope, that's it. At night, the year before last, some crap clawed up Senka, the combine operator, scratched him right across the face with its claws and tore him up. He barely survived. That's why it's like a spell was cast. There will be no harvesting there at night. From the evening on, the passage is closed. The place gets fiercer. As for why, I have no idea.
I know, my mother muttered. Oh, come on with your old wives' tales. Roma is gone one way or another, and so are the others. What difference does it make what's in that field and hollow? It won't make life any easier, and it won't bring people back. So, that's enough of this darkness for today. You'd better pour a drink. Let's remember Roma. He was a good man, and his son is gold, not a person. We silently raised our glasses, and after that, I said I was already nodding off and would go to sleep. I slept for a full 18 hours. I got up to use the bathroom, ate, and then slept for another 13 hours. Because of that, I missed everything, although they supposedly tried to wake me, but I didn't even remember it. But I was rested. I wasn't just rested. It was like I had gone on vacation. I hadn't slept in complete darkness and silence for so many years, and the air here was heavy. The air was pure. When I first arrived, my head even started to hurt. I got oxygen poisoning. And then I came to my own home, relaxed, had some tea, honey, a shot of vodka, and slept by an open window. It felt like I hadn't just slept well, but that the old me had died completely, and a completely different person had woken up. The first thing I did was eat. I ate properly. I ate like a horse, because for the last few days I had just been lying in bed like a corpse. After eating, I went to the mirror and assessed myself. Even the circles under my eyes were gone. It was amazing. My skin seemed to have tightened up. I got ready and went outside, and breathing in the fresh air, I walked through the village, noting how clearly I could think here. If, upon arrival, the village seemed half dead to me, now it didn't. There's Uncle Vova cleaning up his yard. Usually he'd bring out a speaker and blast some ditties. Not now, of course. It's a time of mourning, no music. But if what happened hadn't happened, it would have been more cheerful. There were cars in some yards. Apparently, some people used their houses as summer cottages, or maybe someone came to visit relatives. People were walking along the street, too, and I talked with every person I met. The questions were typical, that's a given, and there's no need to go into that. When I reached the edge of the village, I unexpectedly stopped. I looked at the branch that they throw in the wake of the deceased. I had been walking and stepping around them all the way. I stood for a long time, looking at that branch, a silent monument. Well, Uncle Ram, it's a shame it happened this way. Sorry I couldn't come, even though I was nearby, sleeping soundly. Farewell. I hope we'll meet after death. You were a good man. I said this out loud in the silence. The day was foggy and quiet, complete calm. A black raven jumped from the branch, hopped on its big feet, cawed, and flew off somewhere into the fog. Said his goodbyes then. I said aloud to the departed bird. Then I turned and walked towards the farms. As my father told me, only one of the four is working. I walked, thinking about this and that, about how simple everything is here, how easy it is to live, how simply and unhurriedly people live here. No hustle and bustle. An hour from now, right now, it has no meaning. There aren't a million smells of perfumes and fragrances that make your nose sting or your head ache by the end of the day. There aren't a million voices around you as you walk down the street. Here, everything is different. Here, you are just you. Here, you're not a firm owner, not some big shot. Here, you're a person. You don't have ranks, privileges. You're just a small person on this vast earth. I felt so good from this thought, so peaceful in my soul. It was like a fairy tale. In the capital, I constantly whined every evening about one thing or another. But here, there may be nothing, but at least I'm not whining, and I want to live. Everything here is simple and understandable, without frills or falsehood. I tried to push this thought as far away as possible, but by the evening, it broke through and took shape. I'm buying this collective farm. That's how it sounded. Since I was well versed in these matters and had eaten a pack of dogs on them, finding the owners, negotiating, and bringing down the price was no problem for me. At first, I introduced myself the old-fashioned way. For me, as a Muscovite, the price was higher. But when I said I was a local, the price immediately started to drop. For almost a week, I negotiated the price and refused to pay a single extra ruble. I knew the value of this land and saw its potential. And without serious investment, there wasn't much. I was planning to spend my savings and possibly sell my firm, after which I would raise up the collective farm, not pay some unknown person. While negotiating, I already started making inquiries about grain sales, purchases of equipment, and in general, the plans were grandiose. And all this had to be done before spring, preferably in winter, when prices for agricultural equipment fall. I bought my own native collective farm for a song. My offer prevailed because, as I understood it, the owner was only burdened by it, and it didn't bring the desired profit. My father also said that he had heard more than once that they wanted to sell it, but there was no one to sell it to. That's why the price was dirt cheap. My father supported me in my attempt to breathe life back into this place, and I did it quite effectively. I bought a lot of equipment with my savings, hired builders, and redid a lot. I also bought new equipment from bankrupt collective farms, spare parts, and so on. In short, the village came to life. And in the spring, the work started with renewed vigor, with a force that had never been seen before. They used to sow 2 or 3 fields, but I owned more than 12. Of course, it wasn't without loans. How could it be otherwise? But the loans would be repaid, I was sure of it. The main thing was that I found buyers for the grain, and the revenue should be good, even considering the debt service. When I was signing the purchase papers, the old owner warned me about those mysterious 10 hectares of the hollow. He said, "Don't you even dare to plow there. Such terrible things happen. People disappear and die. Don't touch that field. It's yours, of course, but..." I had a slightly different opinion about the anomalous field and its danger. It had one undeniable quality: fertility. If you sow those miserable 10 hectares, the yield will be simply abnormally high, and no one could explain why. The grain there was like it was hand-picked, kernel to kernel. And they sowed it, it seems, once for an experiment.
Those 10 hectares are my land. And besides, from these 10 hectares, if you believe even my father, you'll get as much grain as from 25, and that, is worth a lot. And again, why not?
So I did it. I sent a non-local tractor driver to that place and said, "Remember God often, and you will be happy." But happiness did not happen. 2 hours later, I myself was standing in the plowed field, looking at an amazing sight. These 10 hectares were indeed different. The soil everywhere else is gray, but here it was black as tar. You could spread it on bread. It was so rich you could see it was fertile. The agronomist, the mechanical engineer, and the tractor driver stood there looking at this marvel. While plowing this field, a coffin with chains on it had been turned up. "So, what are we going to do? Drag it off?" the tractor driver asked. "Who are we going to call? Or not? It's just that I snagged it over there and dragged it. And over there are pieces of wood, probably from other coffins." "What is this, a mass grave?" the agronomist muttered, barely restraining himself from letting out a string of curses you could only hear from people in his profession. He was from a neighboring village and knew these tales and legends as well as we did. "But I have a different question. Why the hell are these coffins in chains?" I asked, looking at the bones. "Well, there are a couple of legends here." "All right, it's getting late. Listen up. Here's what we do. Everyone go home now. Forget everything that happened here." Suddenly, there was a loud bang, as if someone had slammed a door from inside the coffin. Did everyone just see what I saw?" the tractor driver asked, crossing himself. We moved closer and looked into the rotten, broken box. As expected, there was a skeleton inside. But a skeleton can't hit a coffin. Holy saints, guys. Looks like the rumors about this place are true. Oh, it was a bad idea to start plowing it. "Oh, come on, you're just imagining things," I said from behind. "We need to figure this out. Understand whose bones these are. That's why I'm saying, go home, now. Go home. I hope you didn't take anything from the field." "Yeah, right. Like we have nothing better to do than take something from here." "Don't you dare," I said. "I'm going to think about how to solve this now." "He'll solve this problem," the agronomist said suddenly, angrily. "For years, no one touched anything here, and everything was fine. But as soon as you bought it, you started. It wasn't for no reason that they didn't touch it. We warned you, but you thought it was all fairy tales and that you'd figure it out. What is there to figure out here? These coffins aren't in chains for no reason." "Oh, not for no reason. I have a feeling tonight's going to be a fun one for us. You've disturbed such a den of depravity." The agronomist left. Of course, I said it myself, and I didn't believe that I had really dug up such a terrible place. I thought it was all just talk, nothing more. Then again, this land would be very useful to me. I mean, what the hell is this? At home, of course, I didn't say a word to anyone and went to bed early. And at night, a real nightmare began. I woke up because I couldn't breathe. It felt like a huge stone was on my chest, and hands were clasped around my throat. "Mom! Dad!" I shouted quite loudly. "They can't hear you. Only I can hear you. Who are you? Why are you here? I am the one who wants to help you. But first and foremost, myself. What do you need? What must I do?" A cold sweat covered me. A voice, ancient and tired, continued. "A long, long time ago, we lived on these lands. It was a dark page in history. Crop failures, fires, hardships, famine in the end. And life was hard. This was a very long time ago. People started to go mad, to spy on each other, to snitch. Anyone who went out at night was already, according to some, a traitor. And such people, in the opinion of others, went out to plot schemes, burn fields, set fires. So many houses burned down, it was terrible. Half a village could burn down in one day, and there were many more villages than now. People became savage, insane, satanic. They began to inform and snitch on each other, and malice, like a bubble, accumulated, building up. And that's how it all ended. The guilty, and the not-so-well-off, and generally everyone about whom at least something was once said, were gathered together and taken to this field. They killed us here. Sorceresses, innocent people, witches, and warlocks all lie mixed together. Because of this, the land there is eerie and terrifying. We were killed right in these coffins, bound with chains and thrown into a pit, so that we would lie there and never get out. I was innocent. My only crime was that I went out at night to steal potatoes from a garden. That's where my guilt ends. But they didn't let me explain anything, just a knife blow to the heart, and that's it. They nailed me in, bound me with a chain, and threw me to the bottom of the pit. When all the guilty in the eyes of society were killed, the hardships did indeed cease. But for you, not for me. As I said, there were many sorcerers from all around, and even in death they lay there, laughing, muttering spells. Of course, they couldn't do much harm, but it was hard to pass by that field without getting cursed. Recently, a tractor driver was killed here. He came here, turned around, and it rushed at him, and he died of fear. There have been many deaths, and there will be endless more as long as people live nearby. For the last few years, all I've been doing is trying to get out of this box, fighting, rising millimeter by millimeter to the top. And now, finally, it happened. A tractor turned over my coffin, and now I can come to you as the owner of this land and say, some of them want to destroy all of you, and they will do it easily. No prayers or protections will help. We lay in the ground for centuries, and the malice accumulated. It's terrifying. Even this land is so fertile, only to lure a fool to sow it and then finish him off. Some of them want to kill and exterminate all of you, and they will do it. But I'm just tired and want peace. So here's what you'll do. Get up right now and do it, because tomorrow will be too late. We were all lying in one pit, in one place. Find that spot, dig everything up, and burn these coffins. Burn everything. But the most important thing is, among all these coffins, there will be one special one. It's especially wrapped in chains. That is the source of the main trouble and malice of this place. If you dig it up and people drag away the gossip and the bones, then it's the end for everyone. But who needs them? Get your hands off me! I managed to raise my hand and grab onto something cold. Right now, as others are coming to you, not as loyal as I am, you have stirred them up. My coffin is rented. Right now, the sorcerers and other filth have sensed the place, that the power is opening up. It's terrifying. That's why you can't take them anywhere. You can't report it. Gather a bonfire and burn them. Let us go. No one will touch you tonight. Don't be afraid. Not even the sorceresses will. But tomorrow, you won't even be able to get close. Hurry. I jumped up, all wet. The illusion was gone. A curse, damn it. What should I do? I grabbed my phone and called my friend. With the words, "urgent," and telling him not to ask questions, "They're knocking in their coffins." "Yes," I answered. "Are you sure we should dig them up?"
Maybe it's better to leave them.
"I don't know. I think as long as they are there will be problems. And for some reason, I believe that creepy spirit or illusion." "Why?" "Because if he wanted to make things worse, he wouldn't have told me about burning them. Tomorrow, they would have come and dug them up anyway, so all he had to do was nothing. But he asked to burn them, not just dig them up. And besides, if you believe the stories, if you burn evil spirits, they disappear for good. It's scary. I can even hear and feel the vibration here. Okay, let's go light a bonfire. Get behind the controls of the machinery. I think this will take an hour or two. And what will you tell people? It wasn't just you who saw it. I'll say nothing. I'll say, I don't know. This shouldn't concern anyone. Understood? Get to work, my friend said. And we began. I started a huge bonfire, and my friend, using the machinery, pulled the coffins out of the ground and threw them into the fire. Screams, wails, and a terrible black smoke rose all night over that field. Horrible creatures cursed us, but they had no power to do anything but threaten. Everything burned spectacularly. The glow was such as if we were burning coal, not wood with bones. The evil force was returning to its native harbor, a world of gray and burning fires. Drenched in cold sweat, we continued to work almost until dawn. "So, what have you decided about the coffins?" the agronomist asked the next morning. He was, for some reason, furious, and started asking these questions almost from the doorstep. "The problem is gone." "What do you mean, the problem is gone?" "Literally. Those 10 hectares are being plowed right now. There's no more need to think about the danger of this place." "No need. Wait, stop. Where's the coffin? And where are the bones? And why are you asking such questions? What do you mean? Is this a joke? Is this any of your business? You need to work or meddle in other people's affairs?" I asked calmly. The agronomist took a deep breath, started to say something, then faltered and answered, "You know what? You're right. It's none of my business. If everything is fine there now, then it's fine," he said, for some reason already distracted, and walked out. But if only it had all ended there. In that one day, I saw everyone. Archaeologists, the police, and all of them were called by people I didn't even know. There were many questions, and I just shrugged. And again, why would an agronomist suddenly decide to call the police and to a specific location and then drop everything and rush over here? It's true. He has no reason to act this way. Nevertheless, many such people were here until the very evening. I tried to fend off stupid questions. Of course, they threatened me that I was in for it, that I was in trouble. But my friend and I had worked hard, and there were not only no coffins, but not even a single bone lying around. And the traces of our nighttime presence were destroyed by fire and the tractor. I saw fury in the eyes of some. They were angry at me for what I had done, and I was only more convinced that I had done the right thing and listened to that spirit. And God knows how many people I saved from a terrible, terrible death.